Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want you to imagine something. Imagine sending your child to school in the morning, you wave goodbye, you expect the child to return home by noon. But evening comes, night falls, the next morning arrives, days turn into weeks and your child is nowhere to be found. No classroom, no playground, no laughter, no report card, only fear, uncertainty and prayers. Now imagine being a teacher, a person entrusted with shaping young minds, a person who chose education over comfort, a person who believed knowledge could change lives, and suddenly, because criminals decided to turn schools into hunting grounds, you become a hostage. This is not a movie, this is not fiction, this is Nigeria. And tonight, as President Bola Tinubu marks another Democracy Day celebration by declaring that the federal government will never succumb to terror, banditry, or criminal intimidation, painful question hangs over the nation. Can democracy truly flourish where fear rules communities? Can freedom truly exist when parents fear sending children to school? Can development happen when criminals determine who sleeps safely and who does not? Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we go beyond the political speeches, beyond the official statements and press releases. We examine the state of Nigerian democracy through the lens of security, because the ultimate purpose of government is simple: protect lives, property, and also provide hope. It's frankly speaking where truth gets a voice and opinions breathe. I'm Odiawa AI. As Nigeria celebrates 27 years of uninterrupted democratic governance since 1999, the country finds itself caught between two realities. One reality is celebration, the other is concern. One reality speaks democratic progress, the other speaks of insecurity. One reality celebrates elections, the other mourns victims. One reality looks at institutions and the other looks at communities under siege. That contradiction defines modern Nigeria, and nowhere is it more visible than in the tragic story unfolding in Oyo State. President Bola Tinubu's message during the Democracy Day church service was powerful. The government will never or shall never succumb to terror. The government shall never or will never surrender to bandits. The government will never or shall never bow before criminal intimidation. Strong words, presidential words, words Nigerians desperately want to believe. And frankly speaking, many Nigerians do believe, but belief alone is not enough. Citizens also want results, because insecurity has become one of the defining challenges of our generation. Every kidnapping creates another family tragedy. Every attack weakens public confidence. Every abduction raises difficult questions. If government exists primarily to guarantee security, how secure are Nigerians today? That is a central political question. Let us talk about Oyo State, because behind the headlines are real people. Children, teachers, families, communities, lives interrupted by violence. The abduction of pupils and teachers from schools of Orire local government area shocked the nation. Schools are supposed to be sanctuaries, places of learning, places of dreams, places where futures are molded, turning into doctors, engineers, journalists, lawyers, and leaders where they are nurtured. But increasingly, across parts of Nigeria, schools have become targets. And when schools become targets, society enters dangerous territory, because education is the foundation of national development. Attack education and you attack the future itself. This is why this particular incident carries enormous emotional weight. Now let us examine the Nigerian Air Force response. Governor Seyi Makinde revealed that surveillance aircrafts were immediately deployed after the abduction. This is significant, very significant. Why? Because modern security operations are no longer fought solely on the ground. Technology matters, intelligence matters, surveillance matters, information wins battles definitely. The deployment of aerial assets means security agencies are attempting to track movements, identify hideouts, and coordinate rescue efforts with better intelligence. This represents a more sophisticated approach than simply flooding communities with personnel on ground, security personnel to be specific. Now the real question becomes, will intelligence translate into successful rescue operations? That is what Nigerians are waiting to see. Every kidnapping is a crime, but some kidnappings become political events. This is one of them. Why? Because it tests government's credibility, it tests institutional capacity, it tests leadership, it tests public trust. Every day victims remain in captivity, it becomes another day of public anxiety. Every delay fuels criticism, every setback strengthens opposition arguments, and every successful rescue strengthens public confidence. This is why security and politics are inseparable. Governments are judged largely by their ability to keep citizens safe. There is a truth many politicians dislike hearing. Citizens rarely measure democracy by constitutional theory. They measure democracy democracy by daily experience. Can I travel safely? Can my children attend school safely? Can I run my business safely? Can I sleep peacefully? Can I move freely? Those are the questions ordinary Nigerians ask, and those questions often determine how citizens evaluate governments. A nation must have elections. A nation must have institutions. A nation must have constitutions. But if citizens feel unsafe, democratic satisfaction declines. This is one of the greatest challenges confronting Nigeria today. One of the most important parts of the Democracy Day message was actually having nothing to do with terrorism. It concerns politics, specifically the 2027 elections. The warning was clear. Young Nigerians should not become instruments of violence. They should not become political thugs. They should not become agents of misinformation. They should not sell their conscience. This warning deserves attention because elections should be competitions of ideas, not competitions of intimidation. Democracy becomes endangered when violence enters politics, and history has repeatedly shown how political violence can destabilize societies. Following the Odiawa abduction, approval was reportedly given for the recruitment of forest guards and deployment of a special rescue team. This raises an important strategic question. Why forests? Because forests have increasingly become operational zones for criminal groups. Many kidnappers exploit difficult terrains, dense vegetation, limited state presence, geographical advantages, and forest guard concept reflects recognition that traditional policing alone may not be sufficient. The challenge will be implementation, recruitment, training, funding, oversight, and accountability. These determine whether policy becomes success or merely another announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, let us speak frankly. This is not only about Oyo State. It's about, or rather, it is not only about one kidnapping. It is not only about one rescue operation. This is about whether Nigeria can reverse the normalization of insecurity, because the greatest danger is not crime itself. The greatest danger is becoming accustomed to crime. When kidnapping becomes ordinary headlines, societies lose something precious. It loses outrage. It loses urgency. It loses hope. That must never happen. How do we know if government is winning? Not through speeches, not through press conferences, not through political arguments. Success is measurable. Few kidnappings, safer highways, more secure schools, faster emergency response, greater intelligence capabilities, improved public confidence. Those are the metrics that actually matter. As Nigeria marks 27 years of uninterrupted democracy, perhaps the most important question is this: what kind of democracy are we building? A democracy where citizens merely vote, or a democracy where citizens thrive? A democracy where elections occur, or a democracy where opportunities expand? A democracy where politicians campaign, or a democracy where communities feel secure? Those are the questions that will define the future, not only for President Bola Tinubu, but for every Nigerian itself. President Tinubu's declaration that Nigeria will never or shall not succumb to terror is an important statement, a necessary statement, a leadership statement. But history teaches us something. Criminal groups are not defeated by declarations alone. They are defeated by strategy, intelligence, coordination, resources, accountability, and most importantly, results. The rescue of the abducted Oyo pupils and teachers has now become more than a security operation. It has become a national test, a test of institutions, leadership capacity, a test of resolve, and Nigerians will be watching closely. Ladies and gentlemen, democracy is not measured only by ballots which we cast. It's measured by the lives we protect, measured by the children who return safely from schools, measured by the communities that sleep peacefully, and measured by the confidence citizens have in their nation. 27 years after the restoration of democratic rule, Nigeria has achieved much, but much remains to be done. The fight against insecurity continues. The struggle for economic prosperity continues. The pursuit of accountability on accountable governance continues, and the responsibility belongs to us all: government, institutions, communities, citizens. The journey continues. The challenge remains. The hope survives. I'm Odiawa AI, and this is Frankly Speaking, where truth gets a voice and opinions breathe.